and welcome to this Warhammer 40k 2000 points Tyranids army list. This video is going to display my 2000 point Tyranid army, which I'm currently using in a friendly tournament created by me and my friends. I'm going to start with an army overview and go into specific slots: HQ, Elite, Troops, Fast Attack and Heavy Support. So let's take a look at the army. So here is 2000 points of Tyranids for you. I have 2 Winged Hive Tyrants, 3 Hive Guard, 1 Doom of Malantai with my Setic Spore, 2 Turbogons, I then have 2 sets of 10 Termagants, and then have 30 Hormagaunts, and a Trigon Prime, and a Tyranids. The psychic powers that I use in this army is Biomancy, and I use that on my Turbogons and my Winged Hive Tyrants. The Doom of Malantai has his own abilities, which I'll come to in his section in just a moment. Now this army I use predominantly most of the time. This is my main 2000 point army. If anyone says, would you like a battle, I'll use these. So let's kick things off and start with the HQ slots with my Winged Hive Tyrants. So here we have both of them. The immediate upgrade I give them is wings, because then they have the ability to fly. Now, winged monstrous creatures can choose to make 2 different movements. The first one is move like an assault monstrous creature, or the other one is be able them to go 18 to 24 inches, I think it is, and then everyone has to snap fire trying to get them. So my Warlord is generally the one with the Twin Link, Brain Leech, Devourer sets of awesomeness on the right, and on the left I have a standard Bone Sword Lash Whip, comes standard as a Hive Tyrant upgrade. The close combat Hive Tyrant I generally use to scare the opponent. He will zoom off to some high priority target or something my opponent wants to keep on the field, and that is a big distraction. My opponent now thinks, right, I have to destroy this flying monstrous creature coming towards me, whilst my Warlord one, with its many shots, stays at the back defending whatever objective I have. Because I think 5 out of the 6 missions in the Warhammer 40k 6th edition missions and games are objective based, and you have to remember this, it's an objective based game. So 1 attacking Hive Tyrant, there he is, and 1 shooty defending one, both with Biomancy powers, enabling them to buff their abilities or those around them. It's great with the potential of getting them to a higher toughness, and feel no pain is always good, because they don't come with a vulnerable save in this edition of the Codex. Whether future codexes give them extra vulnerable saves, we can only hope as Tyranid players. So next we're going to move on to the elite section of my army. So I have 3 Hive Guard. Now these are brilliant. They come with Hardened Carapace, which gives them a 4-up armor save, which is almost unseen in the Tyranid Codex. It's 1 less than the Winged Hive Tyrants, which come with a 3-up armor save. They have an Impaler Cannon. Now the Impaler Cannon is extremely interesting. The Impaler Cannon is a 24-inch range, strength 8, AP 4, ignores cover. Assault 2. Ignores cover. So in their specific entry, not only does it ignore cover, you don't need line of sight. So you don't need line of sight to see something that's around the back of a building that none of your army can see. It's great. Strength 8 is great against toughness 4 models and below. They fail that armor save, it's instantly gone. And it's great against light vehicles to medium vehicles. So rhinos are pretty much gone. Always a standard in my army. Next, going on to the Doom of Malantai. Now this comes in at 90 points a model, which is really great. The Doom Manatai comes with a Mycetic Spore, and with the Mycetic Spore, you're able him to deep strike. It's essentially a deep strike movement, which is what you need for him with his special abilities, because his special abilities are as follows. He has Spirit Leech, which basically means you make any opponents within 6 inches, models, they have to roll a leadership test on 3d6. For every number above their leadership, that amount of models have to be removed, with no armor saves allowed. And then the amount of models that were removed become his wounds, and his other special ability means if he gains extra wounds, that is his strength, the number of wounds he has. So if he sucks up loads of brains, has 10 wounds, because he can't go over 10 wounds, he then is strength 10. He also have a psychic power called Cataclysm, which is a range 24, AP 1, assault 1, blast. Now, the strength of this psychic power is the strength of his own strength. However, after the power's been used, but before any additional wounds are sucked up, he has to roll D3 wounds off that. Great model. So here is my troop section. I have 2 Tervagon. That's it, no upgrades. I have 2 sets of 10 Termagants to make my Tervagon's troops. And then I have 30 Hormagons. Now what I do normally is have the Tervagons stay back unless I know a lot of objectives are on my opponent's side of the field. So they stay back with the Gaunts, able to hold my objective. So I don't have to worry. Generally, my monstrous creatures are able to stay back with such a high toughness and so many wounds. They don't have a problem absorbing lots of shots, going into close combat generally, and having 30 Hormagants go on the attack with my attacking force makes my opponent think, right, what am I going to do? I've got 30 Hormagants coming at me, and each Hormagant has 2 attacks, and so it may only be strength 3, but it's initiative of 5. So they're going to be going first most of the time, and then there's a monstrous creature with them normally, and it just give your opponent more targets will confuse them. Target priority is a key thing in 40k, and if they don't get it right, a Tyranid force can just wipe any army out. Even though 40k is a predominantly shooty game, this assault Tyranid army I have found has worked pretty well for me. With so many monstrous creatures, my opponent finds it hard. With the Tervagon, they have special abilities that they can spawn more Termagants. At the beginning of each movement phase, you roll 3d6, and that's how many Termagants you get. But if you roll double on any of them, you can no longer spawn any more Termagants. So you have the potential to just spawn lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of Gaunts, which makes your opponent think, what am I going to do? Not only do I have all these monstrous creatures, I have all these Gaunts I've got to kill. Great troop options these are. 2 monstrous creatures, a load of Gaunts, very versatile in being able to take down your opponent's army. So Tervagon being a toughness 6 creature with 6 wounds, I tend to not give him any upgrades because he generally seems to be tough enough, or she seems to be tough enough to withstand a lot of attacks coming her way. The Gaunts that I use they're just there. If they die, they die. They're only, I think, 6 and 5 points per model, so they're there as cannon fodder, there to be taken down, and it doesn't matter really. I tend to put a lot of points into my troops, but what we're going to go on to now is my heavy support option. So here are my heavy support options. I choose a Trigon and upgrade it to a Trigon Prime. I then have a Tyrannifex. Now the Trigon Prime is a great upgrade. It enables it to have a 12-inch synapse, and it also allows his shooting attack to be a bit better, and I also give them both regen. The Tyranids, I've seen a lot of forums on the internet that a lot of people think it's a waste of points. It's with the Rupture Cannon, which is a strength 10 shot, makes it over 250 points. And I give it regen as well, so why would I do that? Well, what I do with these two, I advance them up the table with the Hormigons and the Winged Hive Tyrant. Now, a Trygon Prime has 6 wounds, he's strength 6, toughness 6, 6 attacks at initiative 4 with a 3-up armor save. He's going to be taking down a lot of models or vehicles. Now, Tyranids with his strength 10 weapon can shoot, and it's an assault weapon, so he can shoot as he moves up, and he's also strength 6, toughness 6 wounds, but he has a 2-up armor save. Now, you give your opponent the option to take down my 30 Hormigons, take down my Tyranids, take down my Trygon Prime, and my Winged Hive Tyrant. What are you going to do? So, if I have a lot of objectives, I'll still have them advance up to my opponent to confuse him and make him think, what do I do? How do I get these waves of Tyranids? If he has a lot, or she has a lot of objectives, that's great. I'll just advance all my army up to claim their objectives and try and wipe them out completely. I find that if they can take down these monstrous creatures and Hormigons, it's a little hard for them to then take my other objectives if I have 2 Tervigons, a load of Tormigons, and Hive Guard there. So these two are devastating. They're my main bulk of attack, and I just walk them up the field and give my opponent something to think about. Now, the strength 10 weapon is great against light vehicles. He is ballistic skill free though, so the Tyranids is shooting on 4s to hit. The AP is 4, so it's not going to be taking down a lot of Terminators. It's not a Terminator killer per se, but these two are great for my main bulk of attack. Now, going on with the attack theme, I don't use the Trygon Prime as a deep strike. He can deep strike, but I don't choose to do that. If you have him deep strike next to your opponent, deep in his deployment zone, for example, he's going to get shot and killed. 3-up armor save, you are going to fail a few saves. So, here's my army. 2,000 points of Tyranids. I split the army up in 2. I have 1 Hive Tyrant staying with some Tervigons and Termagants, and Hive Guard, keeping my objectives. I then have my Trygon Prime, my Tyranids, and my Hormigons go up the field with their Winged Hive Tyrant in close combat. I have the Doom of Malantai, confuse my opponent, taking down as many troops as I can, and then if I need to take more objectives, my Tervigon will spawn some more Gaunts and go over to those objectives. I find this tactic works, and with Biomancy buffing my monstrous creatures, they become very effective and very dangerous. So there we are, 2,000 points of Tyranids for you. If you have any suggestions how I could tweak this list, make it a little bit better, or if you think it's done okay, just leave a comment below. Thanks again for watching.